having Christianity just shoved at you. And I mean, it's everywhere you look. Christian nationalist flags, I mean, all over the place. I mean, it's unbearable. So it definitely sparked wanting to create something down here that was a backlash just from that.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, I am Demiser the Demiser of the band Demiser.
And Demiser the Demiser, how would you describe the music of Demiser, the band?
Man, so we describe ourselves as just debaucherous, evil black thrash or black speed metal.
In terms of the black metal side of your sound, is there something sonically that you consider your band to be black metal? Does a lot of it have to do with the lyrical content?
Well, a lot of it is lyrical content, but there's definitely, aspects of riffs and tone kind of cut in and out of the songs that are definitely auditorially black metal.
So this is a question I ask most bands, but what is black metal to you? What does black metal mean to you?
Well, to me, I don't, man, that's a good question. So, I mean, it's a near and dear thing where I mean it can mean many different things to me. It could just be the sound of the music itself. I mean, lyrical content it isn't necessarily inherently black metal. I mean, we've had rock and roll bands from the 60s and 70s and even the 50s that were demonic and evil, and I would not throw them into black metal categories at all. For me, I guess it's a state of I mean, and there's different types of black metal too, right? I mean, you have atmospheric and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of French black metal, and I typically gravitate more towards the furious and violent black metal myself. The stuff that's definitely, I guess, a little bit more just raw and I don't want to say simplistic, but I gravitate more towards that kind of stuff. You know, that's a heavy loaded question. I think that the black metal in itself is a lot of different things, right? And there are aspects of it and of different types of black metal that other people listen to and other people like. When I guess we say it as far as, where we kind of sit within that, it is the more I guess it could be lyrical, but yeah, like I said, there's definitely like the more alternate style picking, and like I said, it can mean a lot to a lot of different people. That's a tough one to answer. We live in the Bible Belt too, so I mean the easiest thing for us to do is just fight fire with fire, right? So we kind of tread on the opposite end of the spectrum than a lot of the Bible thumpers around here. That's the easiest thing to hit them with.
Yeah. Do you want to say where in the belt you are?
Oh, we are located. Demiser is based out of South Carolina. Some of us are just over the border in North Carolina. I myself am in the upstate, and pretty much the majority of the band is based out of Central South Carolina, right in Columbia.
For you personally, based on being in the Bible Belt, was that one of the appeals of black metal? Fighting fire with fire, as you say?
Well, I grew up in Ohio, so
okay.
I mean, Ohio's got some crazy winter. I mean, it's 6 months out of the year, where we're in the snow and everything like that. And I've always gravitated to the dark side. You know what I mean? So it was just something, from discovering Merciful Fate when I was a kid to just going down that path. That's what got me into black metal, and also our dismal fucking winters. But coming down here and just, having, Christianity just shoved at you. And I mean, it's everywhere you look. Christian nationalist flags, I mean, all over the place. I mean, it's unbearable. So it definitely sparked, wanting to create something down here that was a backlash just from that.
Can you tell me a little bit about how Demiser the band came together and what your intentions were?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to do something fun. I was kind of sick, not sick, but I'd been playing in a couple different death metal bands for a while, for several years, and I just wanted to do something, maybe not that Demiser isn't serious, but I wanted to do something a little bit more fun, have a little bit more fun lyrically, do more tongue in cheek, just be more not necessarily goofy with it, but like I definitely wanted to have something a little bit more lighthearted and be able to take myself, or wanted to take myself less seriously too, and just like I said, just go all out, spikes, gauntlets, bullets, and just have a fucking fun time, because that's what heavy metal is. And so when I came up with the idea for Demiser with a friend of mine who I met in Charleston when I was living in the Low Country. And, we kind of started off as just kind of like a Bathory Warship type project. And then we got Grave Pisser involved, and we got Infester involved. And I mean, we eventually started writing music that I couldn't play drums to. And I was like, okay, we need a better fucking drummer. I can't do this. And the music kind of grew into its own from there, and I just moved straight to vocals from that point. But originally, yeah, I mean, it was just I wanted to be of just like a fast, evil two-piece, and it just kind of grew into something beyond that and bigger than that. We started writing better tunes, but yeah, I mean, everything has still stayed true. Like we still are fast and evil and demonic, and we go against what the state has typically stood for. So that was pretty much it, and I feel like we've held pretty true to that, even during that change from the 2-piece to the 5-piece that it is now.
As far as the pseudonyms, Demiser the Demiser, Grave Pisser, Infester, and the rest, would you say you guys have personas, or is it just are they just pseudonyms for the project?
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know about personas. We act out maybe a little bit more, typically when we're going by these names. It is kind of fun. Like it can be a character that you can be, when you're away from home. I mean, whether they are more a piece of our true selves than we would like to admit, maybe sometimes. I mean, we're all not, no, we're not, wouldn't call ourselves alcoholics by any means, but we like to party, and we like to drink a lot when we're with each other, and we throw down and have a great fucking time. I've heard people refer to us as a bunch of drunken Southern boys and things of that nature, and it kind of lets us kind of fall into that. We can be those maniacs that we might want to be on a daily basis, and when we hit the road, we can let that part come out a little bit more than our day-to-day routine when we're at home.
How does a Demiser song typically start?
I think they all kind of start a little bit differently. I mean, Grave Pisser really likes to write these kind of epic intros to songs, and Salamancer really likes to just come straight in, balls to the wall with some of the stuff that he writes. And we kind of try to throw some stuff in there, like, okay, let's kick this one off with the drums doing something cool, or hey, let's kick this one off with a ripping solo, and then on this new album, the final song on the new album, we kick one off where it's just a kind of a vocal swell. And so we try to keep it fairly versatile. We don't want, if you're skipping through the songs, we don't want them all to sound like they're all the same song if you hear the first 3 to 4 seconds of it.
So do most of the songs start with the two guitarists, Grave Pisser and Salamancer? Yeah,
I mean, we're all there together. I mean, they usually start off with a 3 count.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, no. So it's on occasion we'll just start off with just the guitars, but it is typically, we all know what our cues are. Whether the song starts with guitar, whether it starts with drums, whether it's starting with vocals, we all know where we're coming in. So, I mean, we can pull it live. It's just, I don't think have a basic formula to how each song is going to start. Like we talk about it and we change it up.
So you guys start with all of you in the room together, in the practice space together?
So, is that what you mean? Like, is how do we start writing a song?
Oh yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, a lot of the times, either Grave Pisser or Falamancer will bring a riff to the table and we'll try to work it into something maybe that we previously have, or maybe they have a couple of parts to the songs. The guys that live in Colombia have a lot more chance to get together than with me and with Falamancer coming down. We don't make it nearly as much as they get together. You know, we're down there maybe twice a month, whereas they're getting together almost every weekend or a couple times a week even sometimes. So sometimes we have intros or something that's already been fleshed out by the time that I get there or by the time Falamancer gets there, and whether we rework that or not, it's just kind of depending on, you know, if everybody's feeling it. And that sometimes we show up and we're like, okay, that's fucking sick how it is. And other times it's like, okay, let's kind of rework this a little bit. And Infestor's probably the pickiest one when it comes to all that kind of stuff. The Defiler also throws a lot of really great ideas out there. I mean, especially on this last record. But yeah, I mean, I would say that it kind of depends on how everybody's feeling when we actually, like, they might have a basic structure down, or like, hey, check this song out that we put together. And then maybe by the time all of us hear it, we want to change some stuff or have other things to add or suggestions. And, you know, we all do our best to listen to each other, and we all try our suggestions. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We go back to the original, whatever it may be. But that's kind of how we play into that.
And what about the lyrics? When do you start working on the lyrics? Do you have a theme in mind as you guys are arranging and crafting a song?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the shit pops in real quick, or I'll hear a riff that everybody's working on, or I'll have one in my head and I can hear that pattern right off the bat. And usually when that happens, the lyrics come very fast. Or I'll sit down, I'll just start typing, and, you know, an hour later, the song is done. Other times, there have been, you know, several times, especially on this last album, where, you know, the lyrics came last on several of the songs on this last album, where, you know, I was kind of having a year and I had patterns for a lot of the songs, but I hadn't sat down and gotten a chance to really write much almost until we were in the studio. And then a lot of the times we'll even branch off and say, hey, everybody, if you guys have a cool lyrical idea for, you know, maybe this part here, or, you know, I'm not hearing the pattern that I want to hear for this, if anybody has any suggestions, and then we kind of write to that. So at least on this album, there's a lot of collaboration with the lyrics and between myself and the rest of the boys.
So let's speak about this new album. It's called Slave to the Scythe, and it'll be released by Metal Blade Records and Blacklight Media on the 23rd of August. Can we speak about Blacklight Media a little bit? Because I think you're the first band on that label who I've spoken to.
I'll tell you what I can.
Can you tell me a little bit about the label and how you got involved with them?
Well, I mean, so as far as I know, Blacklight is a sub-label of Metal Blade. We were reached out to from Metal Blade Records to sit down, or not, well, to have a phone conversation with them. And they mentioned Blacklight Media. They're like, ultimately, this is the Metal Blade release. Blacklight is a sub-label, but you have all of the, Metal Blade benefits and the Metal Blade team and this and that. So we're like, okay, well, it sounds cool. We went over contracts and stuff like that. But as far as Blacklight Media goes, we don't typically talk to them. Like, we talk to Metal Blade. I mean, when it comes to all of the kind of back end stuff and even, setting up these interviews and things like that. I mean, it's all through Metal Blade. We haven't really had much communication with Blacklight.
Okay. So the guy in charge of the label, the chef, I think his name is Chris Santos, right?
Yes. I was trying to remember what it was.
He never contacted you? You guys have never been in touch with him or corresponded with him?
We've never spoken to him. I don't believe. I was going to do, I guess, him and Matt Bacon have like a podcast together that I hopped on last year that I was going to do with him, but Santos he wasn't there for that one. So it was just me and Bacon. And, we communicate with Matt Bacon a little bit via email, but that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't really, like I said, it's not, it feels more like we communicate with Metal Blade than anybody else. And they're the ones that have sent everything to us, even the records and everything. It says Metal Blade on everything. I don't see Blacklight on anything, which is bizarre. And I'm not putting that down by any means. We're happy to be there. But yeah, there's been, I feel like, pretty little involvement from Blacklight since we've done the signing.
Okay, fair enough. As far as the album goes, you spoke about how you want the songs to be very individual, and so as you're skipping around through the album, it feels like every song is distinct. Going into this album, did you want to try anything new with your songwriting, or maybe bring in some other influences?
Yeah, I mean, and we definitely, I think, did. Defiler played a bigger part in the writing process on this album as well. We wanted to kind of maybe branch out a little bit more into the black metal side of black thrash, which, I feel like we did fairly well before. We wanted to kind of maybe make this one a little bit more violent in some ways, but also we added a little bit of, especially in, that final track, we definitely add maybe even a little bit more of a melodic sense to some of the songs. I mean, our songs are typically pretty, short to the point black thrash. And on this one, I think we venture a little bit more into that black metal realm, and even into more like some like Immortal Eye like type riffing, especially late, towards the end of the album. And the point of that is to kind of just open up that door a little bit for us. We're not changing styles or anything like that, but we also don't want to, paint ourselves into a corner or play ourselves into a corner for that matter, and not have anywhere to go and kind of just be forced to put out the same record 7-8 times. So I think we did try some new stuff on this one. I think parts of this record are definitely faster. There's more black metal pieces, and even as the album goes on, I mean, the riffing, as it does maintain that heavy and sometimes even Slayer-esque style that the first album had. We kind of maybe got a little bit more melodic and just tried to open up a little bit more, a couple more doors that we can kind of step in and dip our toes into every once in a while, while still maintaining our entity as Demiser.
Out of curiosity, since there's a song named after Falamancer, and on the demo and on the first album, there's a song named after you, Demiser the Demiser. Is everyone going to get their own song?
So yeah, kind of that's the plan. We're eventually going to get there. I mean, even on that first album, there's a song called Raw Fucking Vomit, which on the demo, that's what we called Infester. So he has one already, and I'm not sure if he's going to get a second one or not now that he changed his name, but we'll see what happens.
Awesome. You spoke a little bit about what inspires you lyrically in terms of your surroundings. Was there anything specific this time around that you felt you were reacting to?
I think with this one, I dove a little bit more into satanic rites, chants, and things like that. I mean, I have lyrics that are direct excerpts from conjurations and stuff like that that I took and used in songs. So I think on a grand scheme, that's kind of where my head was with this record. And we've always had disdain for the church. Like, it just leaves a bad taste in our mouths, and so we want to directly violate and attack that. So that was a very heavy thing for me lyrically. Grave Pisser, the lyrics that he brings to the table are inherently very vile and evil like that. We do have a couple other songs, just like we did on the first one too, that kind of go in a completely different direction lyrically. Carbureted Speed, for instance. I mean, it's about doing cocaine and riding motorcycles. So
based on a true story?
I mean, probably more than once, but but I mean, so that the whole they go hand in hand. I mean, come on, but it's like, we can't. We don't want to just recycle the same lyrics over and over again. You can only do so much with so little. But so we do throw in the fun little songs here and there that are, lyrically just, maybe a little bit ridiculous, such as Carbureted Speed and Falamancer the Falamancer, which are just perverse, very sexually themed lyrics. But everything else, I mean, is still very blasphemous for sure.
did you guys record the album?
We recorded the album at Seaboard in Columbia, South Carolina.
Do you want to say anything about Chase, who recorded this album and who worked on the previous two as well?
Yeah. So Chase, we gave producer credits on this one. He helped even with some of the writing process. And we worked with him on the first record. He really wanted to do this one too. And, he goes back pretty far with a couple of the guys in the band. And he is a very talented engineer. He can play anything too. I mean, he's an incredible musician. So going to him was easy. He was cutting us a buddy deal as well with the recordings. And he lent a lot of knowledge and ideas to the album as a producer. So, I don't have anything bad to say about, obviously we're working with any recording engineer. While you're in the studio, it's fucking tedious and tempers flare. I mean, there were times that I wanted to kill him. I'm like, how many ways can I do this one word in one note? You know what I mean? Like, maybe this one's just not hitting, but like, I'm going to lose my voice on saying this one fucking word over and over and over and over again. And it will drive you fucking mad. Like, you're ready to fight at at some points. But I got to say, and I've talked to him about this too, is the end result doesn't lie. And you're like, okay, well, shit, thanks for pushing it. Thanks for trying your luck.
Yeah. Would you say Chase is a perfectionist? I should mention we're talking about Chase McGuckin.
Yes. No, I mean, yeah, he is. I mean, he knows what he's listening for. He's got an ear that he hears things in our songs that I don't even hear a lot of the time. And that maybe some of the other guys don't even hear. Like, to us, we're like, okay, wait, no, this sounds fine. This sounds how it's supposed to sound. But he'll have us do it until it's the best version of that, which is also infuriating sometimes. But, the end result is what we wanted. And so I got to give him props for knowing he was driving us all insane and giving us the best possible result because of it.
Yeah, I will say that the sound of the album is immaculate. Like, you guys sound really tight, and the drums are super up front, and the guitars aren't overly polished, but they're still very. There's a lot of clarity to the recording. He did a great job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he did.
Did he handle everything from the engineering all the way to the mastering?
He did engineering and mix. He did the mix, and then we sent the album to be mastered elsewhere.
Do you want to say who handled the mastering?
Man, I might not be the right person to ask. Infester kind of handled that aspect of the album. It was somebody that we were in contact with at Metal Blade. That much I know.
Okay, no worries. So we spoke a little bit about your live personas and how you guys like to approach the live aspect. Would you say that Demiser is inherently a live band? Like, is live like the way you want people to experience your music?
Yes, I would say so. Now, you're going to get a little bit more of a raw version of what you hear on the album. I mean, we play faster typically live, just like a lot of other bands do. We don't play to click tracks. We don't wear in-ear monitors or anything like that. I mean, we're playing together, not to a metronome. So you're like, each show is going to be different, but ultimately, yes, it's going to be a little bit more raw, and it's going to be a lot faster. The energy levels are a lot higher than what you would probably even visualize listening to the album.
So with the album coming out soon, do you guys have any plans for the fall or maybe early next year as far as tours or things like that?
Yeah, we're working on ideas for next year right now. Definitely have a couple of things potentially in the works as far as a tour. We're talking East Coast and maybe potentially some stuff in the South and into Texas. we'll see. I mean, nothing's set in stone right now. As far as this year goes, we're doing Mass Destruction Metal Fest in Atlanta. We've got a show coming up next weekend on the 10th in Charlotte. And we have a show coming up, I think, in Columbia, South Carolina, in I think November. And we may take on one or two more here and there, depending. But for the most part, Balamancer is introducing a new member to his family. So we're laying somewhat low this year or throughout the rest of the year, just so he can reacclimate to that kind of lifestyle for a second and be there for support for his family. And then, next year, our goal is to kind of get a little bit more balls to the wall as far as live shows, live dates, touring, stuff like that. Hopefully some more festivals.
So by the time people hear this episode or watch it on YouTube, Slave to the Scythe will be out through Metal Blade Records. Demiser the Demiser, please tell everyone how they can order the album. What's the best way to get it?
Best way to get it is through Blacklight Media or Metal Blade's website, which you can just type into a search engine, or you can go to their Instagrams and follow the links. That's the best way to get it. If you can also get it through our Bandcamp, which you can get the link from our Instagram or Facebook page.
Now, is Metal Blade or Blacklight putting out any vinyl, any variants for this?
Yes. So we have Carbureted Fire, which is a yellow and kind of orange fiery ball kind of look on the vinyl. And that will be out on August 23rd. Pre-orders are up now for that record and for that vinyl. And you can get that through Blacklight or Metal Blade.
And if people want to follow Demiser the band online, what's the best way to do that?
You can visit our Bandcamp or our Instagram or Facebook. Those are the only social media outlets that we have.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Well, following us on Instagram is probably the best thing to do. We're definitely a lot more there than on Facebook, a lot more present. And, there are the two singles that are out already right now, Hell's Full of Fire and Infernal Bust, out on Metal Blade's YouTube channel. So if you haven't watched those, go take a look at those fuckers.
Thank you so much, Demiser.
Thank you.